On today's episode, we have an amazing group of female leaders who are going to share their stories with you and have some fun and be a part. We're really excited to have them on our show today, and they cover multiple organizations, and we're going to talk about how they lead in their organizations, in their communities, and in their homes.
At InitiativeOne, we're igniting a leadership revolution by helping organizations eliminate the drama, improve decision-making, and win as a team. Join Dr. Fred Johnson on the Leadership Initiative podcast as we uncover insights to maximize your impact and transform your life.
Welcome to the Leadership Initiative. We are so happy to have you join us here on the podcast today. We have some special guests, friends and colleagues that lead their organizations, and I cannot wait to introduce you to all of them. I want to remind you that we'd love to have you follow us on your social pages, whatever that is. If you watch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, please join us at that, whatever place is good for you. So I want to introduce our guests today, and I'm again so excited to have everybody on. Thank you for your time and your just sharing your knowledge and your skill with our audience and the leadership community that we work with. On my left, we'll start on my left, we have Abbey Sutherland. Abbey leads the women's volleyball team at UWGB, and she has challenges in leadership every day that we cannot wait to learn from you today. On her right is Erica Brock. Erica is the Chief Operating Officer at Hemophilia Outreach, and it is a blood disorder clinic that serves a very specific population of patients, and she has wonderful pearls of wisdom in leading her clinic. Then on my right, we have Andrea Buxton. Andrea leads as well. She's a family nurse practitioner and really handles all of the, I don't want to say medical direction, but she really does handle all of the health challenges that come into the clinic from a bleeding disorder perspective. She's spoken nationally on bleeding disorders, and she'll share her story about some of the innovative things that they've done at the clinic. Then on her right is Julie Gile, Julie Gile Photography. She is a business owner and has so many lessons in just how leading her own business and the work that she is doing, growing a team, helping to expand her business, and her lessons along the way. So thank you all for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, you guys. So as we start off today, I'm going to start with a couple of questions, and you all feel whatever your heart says, lean in. The first question I want to ask is, has there been someone, a female leader, who's really been influential in your life that you have looked up to, and who was that person and why were they so influential for you?
Mine, so we were prepped with some questions, and it's my mom. And she was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's when I was in my late 20s. And she passed away in 2022 when I was in my early 40s. So she was sick for a long time, and I had lost memories of her, but it's like she still lives on with me, or like I rely on her even though she kind of left in my late 20s. But that's probably a reason, as we like reflect in these opportunities, that it's really important to me to be a female leader.
Amazing. I'm so sorry for your loss, and I know that's been a journey for you and continues to be forever.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for sharing that.
I would actually echo to my mom. She never owned a business, but she was a person who was so creative, and she'd make these crafts for like everyone on our street and all of our family, like every season. She was always trying to find an outlet for her creativity, and had she lived in a day and age of, Etsy or something, or Pinterest, I think she would have been a totally different person. But I just saw so much inside of her that she wasn't able to really apply in life, and I really want to take that baton and move it forward. And she saw people really well, and she's also passed, and it's kind of interesting to reflect on that too. But yeah, she had so much creativity inside of her that I wish she could have applied. maybe I am the application.
You're that. I was just gonna say. Look at your creativity. Into you. Yeah, for sure.
Light bulb.
Both of us figuring that out.
Yeah.
That's great. It reminds me, I mean, in our leadership process, we talk about, what does that, what you're reminding us is how important family of origin is, and having such strong leaders in our lives. And I think about, we don't just lead our organizations, we have to lead ourselves and our family, and what an important part of our growth as leaders that becomes. So, any other thoughts, Erica or Andrea?
I mean, I would echo, my mom has been a huge role model throughout my life, just her love for people. She's actually the reason I work at the clinic, and connected me to the Hemophilia Outreach Center. But my mom loves people, she loves so deeply, and I think that has been extended to me in many ways, and is just very caring, a caregiver by nature, and just I resilient. She's very resilient, and that's something that I strive to and continue to strive to be every day.
That's awesome.
Well, so mine is a little bit different, kind of getting away from the mom piece of it. But when I started college and kind of had no idea what direction my life was supposed to go in, I had a professor that was truly a wonderful mentor, and a lot of the reason that I went into the field that I'm in today, along with some other things that had happened personally, but she just was always there if I needed someone to talk to, or and to me that was so remarkable, because there was no reason that she had to take that role in my life, and so I'm just very thankful for that.
That's awesome. I want to just recognize Jane Goodall, Netflix. Netflix just put out their documentary on her and her last words. I'm gonna cry.
Oh. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, and I just think about just that connection, and she talked about it in the documentary. Like, there's icon Jane Goodall, and then there is her like actual being, and how people look to her not just because they knew her personally, but that impact.
Yeah, and I also have re-listened to a bunch of her stuff recently too, and re-listened to her book as well. And it was like, it's all about it. Her impact is about mentoring, right?
Yes.
How does this continue after I go? And
Roots and shoots.
Roots and shoots, talking about your mom, and how does this continue after I go? And the leadership legacy for her is a model.
Yes, yes. So I just wanted to mention that as we're talking. What's been your boldest, next question, what's been your boldest leadership challenge, and how did it transform you? We just came off of Think Tank. Fred talked about our problems sometimes really forge us into growth, right? It's the iron sharpening iron when challenges are in our lives and we're at that point of growth. What's been your biggest leadership challenge as a leader, a female leader, and in your professional career or personal life?
I would say for me, stepping into the role. 100%, right? I still remember coming to InitiativeOne for the first time, doing leadership transformation. I think it's been at least 8 years now. And Fred was our leader of our cohort, and being given the Post-it note challenge that I had to put the I am enough Post-it note on my rearview mirror in my minivan at the time, and driving around that for a full month. And, going through that process was, truly transformational. Both personally and professionally, but recognizing that I had those qualities and the capability, and being certain that I couldn't do it, and then
so that little Post-it note pivoted you. It totally pivoted your mindset.
I think for sure it helped the whole entire process,
Yes.
right? But
Yes.
that was certainly something that still sticks with me all the time.
That's amazing. And so how do you pay that forward, Andrea, in the work that you do or in the other female leaders that you work with? Because it is a really important message. It has so much to do with our confidence, our ability to believe in ourselves first, and then believe in other people. How do you pay that forward every single day?
Just reminding others that they themselves are leaders, right? That they, even if they're not in that leadership position, they're all leaders, and telling them, no, you can do this. You
Yes.
have the qualities and the capabilities and the tools to do it, and you are more than enough.
Have you ever assigned out the sticky note?
I can say that I've told someone that they had to do it, you know, like I think jokingly said, hey, you got to do the sticky note, right? But yeah, that's a good challenge,
Pay it forward.
right?
Pay it
That's
forward to your teams.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've definitely used the 2.7 analogy, right?
Yeah.
Reminding them that they are a 12, no matter what they might feel about themselves. But
Andrea does pay it forward. I can say that. She pours into me every day.
How so? How so?
Yeah, well, just, you know, when you do, everybody, we're human. We have those 2.7 days, and Andrea's typically, I see it. People are drawn to her, you know, when they have those days, and she's really, you know, able to articulate in the best way, tell you exactly what you need to hear that day, and really does pour into you that you are a different person after you leave a conversation with Andrea and feel like you can reset and get back at it. I'm not just
That's
saying that.
awesome.
She pours
That's
into me
awesome.
probably more than anybody else because of Andrea.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So Abby, you're a volleyball coach. What's been your greatest leadership challenge, and how did that shape you or forge your leadership to grow?
There's so many challenges, and I can think of the most recent, which is our team has had a ton of injuries. We have a player who was diagnosed with cancer in April, but I have to keep going. And I attended the think tank this morning, and I have always modeled and worked to learn, and I do a lot of the things that InitiativeOne tells me to do. The biggest one is continuing to believe in myself, not focus on the results. And in sports, I mean, that's just something that you see, but I had a lot of success, or I've had a lot of success, so you can kind of like lean on wins, but then you define yourself on losses as well. And it's taken me about 20 years. I've been coaching since 2004.
It didn't happen like this.
Yeah. I think this is the first year that I keep saying to myself, and I have to work on it every single day, which is like kind of annoying, but also that's just what I have to do, is I am more than our results. And there's things that are outside of my control, and I'm not going to turn into a crazy person if things aren't going as well with our team, if we have all of these injuries and these illnesses that are affecting our day-to-day lineup. And so I actually said to you before this that we're supposed to pick our 2 words, and we're in this amazing journey together with the cohort, and mine is authentic path. And I figured that out this year, just within the past couple of weeks, that I am always going to lean into my values, even if things are super, super hard. Our sports performance consultant has challenged us to stop saying what if and replace it with even if. So I just said even if. So that was positive for me. But the biggest challenge is believing in yourself and knowing your worth beyond the results. And like, I'm emotional even just thinking about it, because I've been in such a dark place in so many ways. And even though I'm doing like leading my purpose and developing other leaders and, you know, following the script, it's so much more difficult to believe in yourself and know that you're doing things the right way. And so I see way more of my value in how I lead and who I am as a person than ever before. And I've had to work my butt off to get there.
That is amazing. And I know the work that you've done, and it's incredible when you think of the adversity, especially this season, I mean, you've been through a lot prior to so much. And I'm not trying to minimize any of that, but this season we've been along that journey with you, and the adversity and the resiliency of your team, and that message that you just said, that you are so much more than the results. And I want to pivot over to Julie, because Julie was just talking about some of that impact that isn't points on the board when you're playing every week or when you're doing the actual game itself. Your impact at the university and in your coaching position with a group of young female leaders. So I want to pivot to Julie and ask Julie the question, because you shared a story prior to us coming on about Abbey's impact so much further and beyond the game itself. And sometimes we need to hear those stories to really fuel each other and help us to see that we are leading in the right way. So tell that story to us.
A dear friend of mine actually worked at UWGB in the student therapy department, and she said, I've met Abbey, but I really, really need you to understand that the women's volleyball players at UWGB have this reputation, they have this charisma, the way they carry themselves, the way they conduct themselves, the way they hold themselves to a higher standard, the way they operate amongst their peers. It's just different. It's next level. You can tell they've been well coached. And what a neat reflection from somebody way outside your circle that's actually looking in. So I wanted to make sure you hear that.
Yep, absolutely. And just like always trying to find perspective is so important, where I'm thinking, I even told our team, I'm like, you're not going to remember playing this point. Like it's going to be gone. What you're going to remember is how you interact, how you do handle adversity, how you grow through it. And that's what fuels me is I mean, this is so empowering to be sitting at this table with other females, and the experience that we have together is special. I mean, we have a group chat called the Catalyst Collective where we lift each other up. And I mean, we met each other recently and don't really spend that much time together, but it's really meaningful, it's profound. And so like hearing that is so important. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job.
Amazing. How about you, Julie? Any challenges in your life that you've actually felt really were like pivotal places that you had to move into a decision or really pivot your thinking about your business or about who you are?
I think the biggest challenge has been moving forward even when the lights in the room are off, right? When the path is murky, when you can't see, you have to redefine how your safety propels you forward.
Yes.
So we've talked a lot about like trust your history, and that's just one I'm like talking about all the time. Like trust your history, because the path is not always clear, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you're building your own thing and there is no clear path to follow. You have to proceed. Bold leadership means proceeding when you have no clear path.
Yes.
And that's really a challenge that I'm working through, but trusting the history is important and vital to that, overcoming that.
What strengths, here's the next question. I'm going to you, Erica. What strengths do women actually bring to leadership spaces that aren't celebrated enough?
Oh gosh, there's a lot. I mean, everyone is resilient, but I think there is a particular, there's something different about women being resilient. I think we find ourselves as multitaskers and wearing multiple hats, and so are males, but I think there is something to be said about women who are resilient. And I think I'm in a season of life right now where, and I'm continued to be reminded through our women's executive group about continuing to celebrate my wins as well. I'm a mom of two. My youngest is 7 months old, and really trying to figure out the balance of being a female leader in the field and being a mom and the mom that I want to be. And just really, again, trying to focus on being resilient. And I'm among resilient women, so I know it's achievable. So I think that's something that needs to be celebrated.
That's awesome. I was with my son and daughter-in-law for a couple of weeks while they were waiting for their fourth baby. And it was such a gift to be dropped into the household of what you have right now.
It is. It's very special in that there are, don't get me wrong, there are days where I want to rip my hair out. There are days. And I've said it,
I saw that, and it's messy, and it's beautiful.
The beautiful chaos
Yes.
is the best way to encompass it. But like I said, I think that's what I see the most around women and female leaders in my life, is I see people are resilient, people get through those challenging seasons in life, and you take your wins where you can get them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You're reminding me, Mayo did a research project recently, and especially in healthcare, female leaders in healthcare who just having space like this where they can be authentic and they can share, the things that we have the ability to connect on, the challenges, the things that we're excited about. Just doing that on a regular basis makes all the difference in the world, and each of you have the ability to create that in your environments. And I'm just always in awe of how beautiful women are able to be authentic, make sure that their ability to connect is so strong usually that they use that strength to really draw people in and bring teams together. So other thoughts?
I would add, I think women nurture by nature, and that
I
brings
had that same
really
thing.
really solid team aspects, because you're bringing out things in people that they didn't see in themselves.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, they can, I think, trailblazing. I mean, we need more female leaders in the world. I'm part of an organization called We Coach, and I went to 2 conferences and didn't realize their mission is to keep women in coaching, and just how difficult with raising families, and how in general in volleyball they hire more male coaches than female coaches, and one of their mottos is, if you can see her, you can be her. And when we have females in leadership positions, it inspires. That's what I tell our players all the time. You can do anything you want to do. You can do anything and be anything you want to do, and that's why we need female leaders.
Amazing. That's great stuff. Jane Goodall, I think about her early trailblazing. When you said trailblazing, I went right back to her, because, she basically showed up as a secretary to, back in the early, I can't even remember how early it was, but
70s.
Yeah, and so she couldn't even go in as a scientist. She had to go in as a secretary to Dr. Levy, who is a scientist, and the journey that she had to just to get on the same page and the same wavelength, and then she started blazing her own way, and it's an incredible story. So
yeah, we need more women like that. Anyone out there, keep doing what you're doing. I heard a stat where they do, for concussions for athletes, they do most of their research on males. So there's no research whatsoever on how females respond to concussions. And that's why we need to keep moving forward and have those female leaders emerge.
when self-doubt shows up, how many of us have self-doubt?
Can I put 2 hands up?
Every day. What's your mantra to reframe it and get back into courage and bold leadership?
Trust your history.
That is a great little quip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trust your history.
And what does that mean to you, Julie?
It means you only fail if you stop. Really,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the reason your history proves that is because you never stopped.
You just keep pushing
Yes.
pushing forward.
Yeah.
Who else?
Make brave decisions.
Make brave decisions.
Make the brave decision.
Love that. So it keeps you in a place of knowing that the buck stops with you. And if you make a decision, a whole bunch of things can happen because of that.
Yes. Yeah. When we had a player get leukemia, it was late in the year, and you don't always want to rely on the transfer portal, but we ended up adding 2 players, and thank goodness, because we've had so many injuries. But I'm so glad I made the brave decision, because it was unorthodox. But a person we added her the day before season started, and I couldn't imagine our team without her. And so
Wow.
I was scared, and I had, I knew there'd be a lot of opinions about it, but I said, you might find a best friend with this person, and I just trusted my gut, and I'm so glad that we decided to add her to the team, and it was brave.
That's awesome. So trust your history, make brave decisions.
I think remember your self-worth. I mean, I personally have a strong belief in the Lord, and I 100% believe we are all created for a purpose, and we're all in the positions that we're in for a reason, right? And just reminding yourself every day. I know Erica and I joke around a lot. Sometimes we're in a field where we, by just growth, but blazing trails that have never been blazed before in our organization, and in many of these in the bleeding disorder community in general. And we might joke around about the imposter syndrome, right? And Erica will say this, and I'm like, stop it. Like, you are fully qualified and able to do this, and we figure it out, right? Yeah. But it really comes down to remembering that you are here for a purpose, and that you can be that example to others and lead others, and just going into that with confidence.
I think reframing, and I've said this before, reframing the word fail, first attempt in learning. Usually that is how I reflect and bring myself back, is saying, what did I learn from this? I can sit and kick myself all day and get down on myself about how this could have gone, should have gone, would have gone if I had only, and saying, what did I take away? What am I going to do so this doesn't happen again? And committing to moving forward. I think just having that mentality of reframing the definition of fail.
That's awesome. All four of those are excellent reminders, and ways that, like, when we do have that self-doubt, it's just that thing to, like, come on, let's go. We can do this. So I would love if you two would talk about the Trailblazing and Hemophilia Outreach, just from the standpoint of, you all did such a phenomenal thing that, again, when I think about legacy and purpose work, and just walk us through that story, because it is incredible and it needs to be told again and again and again.
So Hemophilia Outreach Center, as you mentioned, we are an independent lifespan clinic for patients with bleeding disorders, which is, overall very rare in the population. However, they have a lot of needs that people don't understand or know how to treat. So we are started by two nurses, actually. Almost
I forget about that.
In the 70s, right? Like 50 years ago, they were trailblazers. There was nothing in this community at all, or really even in the state at the time. And they just decided, they saw these patients coming in at St. Vincent's with lots of needs on every level, and realized the importance of starting this. So it's always been very nurse-led, right? We don't have physicians on site every day. In fact, they're usually only there one day a month, which is what prompted me to go from the nursing career path to the nurse practitioner. And so now I am the on-site provider on a daily basis. But all that aside, to say, we have a very comprehensive care model for our patients in regards to, we treat the whole person, right? Their mental, physical, spiritual, whatever it is, we're there for them. And we offer all these different services for them. So if you know really anything about hemophilia, it's just that these patients aren't able to clot properly. They're missing a clotting protein of some sort. And they have to get medication to prevent the bleeds, and then also to treat the bleeds. And it's a chronic condition. There's no cure. So we really pride ourselves at HOC on patient choice. letting the patients know here's all the available treatments, which those have exploded in the last 10 years. It's remarkable
research has.
How far it's come. And one of the newest advancements is gene therapy. So hemophilia A and hemophilia B, they're missing one clotting protein and have a mutation that causes this. And so the gene therapy that's available is actually a gene transfer therapy, right? It's not a cure, but we essentially give them a copy of a working gene so that they can make their own factor 8 or factor 9 that allows them to not have to have this burden of what we call prophylaxis or pre-treating to prevent bleeds and then having bleeds additionally. So gene therapy was approved for hemophilia B at the end of 2022. And side note, we do not do any clinical trials. We're not involved in research. And if you're in the bleeding disorder space, you typically are embedded in a hospital or an academic institution. And so a lot of places do research. And so if you asked anyone several years ago who the Hemophilia Outreach Center was, they'd be like, the HOC who? Who are these people? Where's Green Bay, Wisconsin? And they may know Green Bay solely from the Packers, right? And that is it. We definitely were not, relevant. And we never meant to be, right? We never were there to have a name. We never tried doing clinical trials or things so that we could have that kind of fame
stigma,
and
like that right? Positive stigma,
just that knowledge, like, oh, look at us, here we are. However, when gene therapy was approved, we had a patient that came to us shortly after it was approved. It was approved in November, and he had come in for his visit in February, and he's like, hey, this like new gene therapy that I know came out, like I really want to pursue it. And so our medical director, our adult hematologist, Dr. Ryan, was seeing him at the time, and he came back and said, hey, Colin wants to pursue gene therapy. Can you refer him to a center that's doing it? So this coincided with kind of one of our annual meetings that we have on a national level with other hemophilia treatment centers and partners in bleeding disorder care, and the gene therapy was the big topic, right? And the president of the Hemophilia Alliance, that was the meeting we were at, said, hey, who's ready to do gene therapy? And nobody raised their hand. Who thinks they can be ready in 6 months? No one raised their hand. In a year, nobody raised their hand, right? Wow. And I was just like, well, all these places that did clinical trials, how are they not doing it, right? So I talked with the manufacturing company and said, well, what's the process? Like, we just assumed that all of these institutions that did the trials would be up and running, and they're like, it's really not much, you have to have some infrastructure, but whatnot. And anyway, so I went back and I said to Dr. Ryan, well, no one's doing it, so we're gonna have to. Wow. And he goes, well, you're gonna have to do the work, but I'm all for it. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking on. And so there were so many things surrounding gene therapy. The reason why people didn't want to do it, the biggest one was, this was public knowledge, it was the most expensive drug in the world at $3.5 million, and no one wanted to take the risk on infusing this into a patient, not getting paid. But we just said, you know what, our patient wants it, and then identified a second patient right after that who also wanted it. And long story short, we, this was in February, and we infused the first 2 patients in June, and we were the first ones in the world to do this gene therapy after FDA approval. And that got us on the map real quick.
Because now
again,
you go to your meetings.
Not intentionally, right? It was solely from the standpoint of our patients want it. Why wouldn't we allow them to have this? And then additionally came gene therapy for hemophilia A was approved, and there was even more scrutiny over that, and people saying we're not even going to offer it whatsoever. And we, again, it was never about the money. It was never about the fame. It was solely about patients. And so that launched us into talking on a national level. And even I was invited last year to Italy to talk about on a worldwide perspective, just how we did it. And, you know, it was so funny to me every time I was asked to speak about how did you get this up? Because I'm like, it wasn't rocket science, right? And which people watching who are like in institutions are like, I can't believe she's saying that right now. But
there's the Andrea Buxton here with us, and then there's the icon Andrea Buxton.
But it was a team collaboration, right? You know, I was saying, okay, I'm going to take the reins and we're going to offer this, and here's what we need everyone to do. And the entire team came together. Again, I look back and I'm like, how we did this, like, kind of like you said, there was no path. No one had done this. Clinical trials are very different than how you do things, because a clinical trial has very set, this is exactly how you do it. Here's exactly every protocol you have to follow. If this happens, you do this. There wasn't anything. So we had to write all of our own policies and protocols. There's no one for me to ask, like, how do you do this? How do we get this started? And so, you know, and I said, when I look back, I'm like, holy crap, how did we
get it
do
done?
this in 4 months, right? Like, how did we get this done? And now to the point where, again, it's a very small population of patients that are eligible for this, right? So there's not a ton, but we've now to the point where we'll be doing our 8th gene therapy infusion. It will be our 2nd patient who is not our patient, but was referred to us from a different treatment center. We've done a patient out of state. So every single time we do it, it's just like, it's so life-changing. But honestly, like, that is one piece of it. The rest of it is our day-to-day, how we go about what we do on a daily basis in regards to patients, their families. I mean, Julie was able to come, and we had the privilege of her doing a lot of pictures with one of our little guys, our patients, who, when you see these pictures, like, she did a fantastic job, right? But can probably speak to just seeing what that kind of care model looks like. But I think, I don't know what you want to add. I totally took over this whole conversation.
I think it kind of goes off something that Julie said about nurturing, like, truly trailblazing the way, yes, although it was a team effort, you and Dr. Ryan making the bold decision and saying, we're doing it, and that created the excitement. I think your ability to, through the relationships you have with our team, able to hone in on their strengths and pull them in to really pull this off, it's a testament to your leadership, the culture we've established at the clinic. But yeah, it's truly incredible. Andrea, the trailblazing that she did in her policy and procedure, it was cool to see her ICU background show up in those policies, just everything. Everybody had a role of, if the patient had a reaction, who was calling 911, who was going to go in the ambulance, who was comforting the family. Everything she thought about was just seamless. It was incredible.
That's my primary leader.
Yes.
It was incredible. I'm a very detail-oriented person, and Erica's being very modest. She is quite the leader at HOC, and maybe you did not do gene therapy initiatives, but like I said, our team is so fast-paced, and so much of that. So, you know, I oversee our clinical side. Erica oversees a lot of the business side of things. And so she and I work very closely because so many of these things are meshed together. And I love watching how Erica's grown into being a leader, for being so young and going through, we all remember, I'm sure, that season of life that she's in right now. But yeah, it's truly a blessing that we have the team that we do, and that we get to work so closely together.
Thank you. You're very kind.
What's interesting to me, and thank you for sharing that story, I just think it's such a story that needs to be told just from the standpoint of the patients and how centered you are on just the model that you have created over at the treatment center. What comes to mind is our collective, right? The Catalyst Collective. And even though we are all in different disciplines, coaching volleyball teams, doing beautiful brand photography to help people tell their stories, working with patients, the common denominator for all of us is leadership. And it's funny how everything that we all teach each other, it shows up in each other's world in some way or another, or we can apply that and relate it to others. And again, I go back to where people always tell us from a differential perspective, because most people think of leadership as the position or the title or the, where they stand in the organization. And the reality of it is companies or businesses or teams unlock when they unlock the potential in each and every person in that organization. And so you all are describing stories about unlocking leaders within the organization to be able to do great work. And Scott was on stage this morning and he talked about it's not about me, it's about we. And the humility, Scott's brilliant. He's a brilliant business owner, and the things that he's done, he's got groups across the country that have bought into his community. And I think about the impact, the ripple effect of each of your leadership in the community that we live in, and it's incredible. It's incredible. So it was the perfect title for our group, the Catalyst Collective, because that's how we operate. That's how we
instant bond, I would say.
Function. Yeah. That's how we function. How do we help each other grow and share stories that will inspire another leader to grow? And move a team to a place where they don't see that path, and all of a sudden clarity comes, right? Like that's, without spaces like this to talk about that and to create, we don't make those that impact that we want.
I remember the first time you had reached out to me and said, could you come and do some photos and things? And I said, well, yeah, let me get to know your organization a little bit better. And I came to the think tank, and afterwards, Fred came up to me. He's like, "What did you think?" And I was like, "Well, it was amazing, but like, I'm not a leader. Like, I just have my own business. Like, it's just me, and I'm like a mom." And he was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he said, "What you do amplifies other people, so they can see their business and their gifts differently, and then make a bigger impact." And I was like, "Oh, that's." Yeah, Fred. Yeah, that's me.
That's that confidence. That's that, like, and again, it just takes somebody to see you, right? That's what it takes.
And now, like, you've poured into that space, and my business is not recognizable to what it was back then. So
I 100% agree, because, like, looking at even the pictures you took of our patient and his mom and Walter the cat. That also came to visit us at the clinic, but those, like, the way, so I should back up, we've had photographers come before, right? And we've had them take pictures of patients and the staff, but looking at the pictures you took, you could truly, I think from an outsider perspective, would be able to understand what we do at our clinic and the model that we have and the relationships that we have, and we've never had that with other photographers before. So I love that you told that story and like what Fred said, because as soon as you said it, I'm like, that is 100% true. Like, you are able to tell our story and coming for a few hours one afternoon, right? Like,
thank you.
Our brand specialist, who's worked on several websites, he's been in the field for probably 15 years, has said, these photos are incredible, and I've never seen photos like this, like for a clinic, and they're amazing, and he can't wait to start working with them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It reminds me of just doing things differently and not accepting the status quo. While that was inspirational, I'm sitting over here just like fired up, because like,
It doesn't surprise me. I'm laying on us.
I'm angry because I'm thinking, really? You're the only one who wanted to do that? And there's just so many instances in every category of leadership where someone can step up and make a change. And like, that's amazing that you were that person. But I even think about the best leader that I am around these days is our Chancellor Mike Alexander. He's inspirational. He thinks outside the box. He'll do things like what you did, that is moving the university forward in a world where higher education doesn't have as much relevance. Yeah. And so, I mean, every single day when you're in higher education, like the answer is no. Yeah. And it's like, well, why? Why is the answer no? And so that gets me, I'm all fired up to keep fighting, to keep trying and to find different ways to make an impact. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that truly and honestly, and this is not just like a pitch to people, but our team going through leadership transformation the first time years back, which ironically we were connected with you guys because the board of directors at the time felt that Jameson, our CEO, was overstepping what his position should be. And
bold leadership.
Yeah.
It was bold leadership.
Yeah.
He was trying to be a bold leader, and they were much more micromanagers, right? But I look back where our organization was, and we had people in the organization who had been there much longer than myself or Erica or Jameson even, who had a lot of influence, and where everything was a no. And not recognizing at that time, the reason it was a no from this person all the time is they couldn't handle change. They were not able to lead boldly. They made fear-based decisions on things. And it really was not until we went through that process, and like I said, 100% transformational and on so many levels. Like, my story is way too long to tell, but from a personal, professional standpoint, was changed, but so were Jameson and Erica. And we decided that, I think as a collective team, it was time to stop living in the past and to push forward. And it is why our growth has been just unbelievable. I mean, you'd have to be a part of the organization to even realize. For instance, we did a whole remodel and addition. It's been a little over a year ago now. Sure. We did an addition for our medical clinic. We have literally run out of space in this addition. And we've been in this building for
2007.
Correct. And so 2.5 years ago, we're like, okay, we're outgrowing our space. And so we have a new space. We've already outgrown that space in a little over a year. And we're like, where do we go? Like, what are we supposed to do now, right?
What's next?
We don't even know what's happening. We just hired another nurse practitioner to help out with a lot of the day-to-day. And I'm like, we don't even have an office for her. Like, I don't know how we're going to add more staff. Like, we have to add staff, and we will, but they're going to be sitting in the kitchen or something. I don't even know. But,
you'll figure it out. Trust your history.
We'll figure it out, man. We'll be out in the garage. I don't know what it's going to look like. We'll figure it out. But it just, to circle back, like, we would not be where we're at without you. And Fred, and what you have created. I mean, none of us would be, right, sitting here without that. 100%. And I just want to make sure, like, people understand it's not, you're not selling a business, right? You're not selling something. You truly live this, and you teach all of us how to live it and allow us to go out and
be
bold leaders.
Lead boldly. Lead boldly.
Yeah. And we were just talking about, like, there's a lot of people who feel super busy. I mean, we all do, and they're like, I don't have time for this. And I'm trying to lead my husband in that direction. Who's
Ryan is getting this.
Oh yeah, he is.
He's getting this podcast.
Yes. I'll just leave this here. Yes, but he is working for one of the fastest growing businesses in the financial industries. It's an RIA. He works with financial advisors, and so he's like, I don't have time for this. We're fast growing. We're have a huge impact on the community. I'm like, that's exactly why you need to do that.
He needs to talk to Scott.
Because yes, and he can help. He can help his company who's growing fast, and then they can make better, bold decisions when everyone just feels like they're drowning. You have to make time for this.
Yes. Yes,
100%.
it's a gift. It really is a gift to the financial advisors. He doesn't know it yet, and that's how Scott always works when he's introducing us to financial advisors. I never thought I'm going to connect the two.
Okay, I like
We're
it.
doing it.
I like it.
We are in cahoots, Abby. We are doing it.
I'm with you.
Very good. Okay, ready for fun round?
Oh, yeah.
So this will be our closing round because we have to do it in a fun way. So first question, guilty pleasure show or podcast that you watch?
Easy. Dexter Resurrection.
Has it been good?
It's so good. If you are an original Dexter fan, it's better than you could even imagine.
Stop! How could it be better?
It is. I promise.
Oh
I was
my
skeptical.
gosh, when did it come out? I didn't even know it came out.
Like a month or two ago.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be stuck on my phone now.
You're gonna love it.
Okay.
Yes.
That is so funny.
That's great. How about you, Erica?
I love the show Suits. I've
Suits.
seen
That's so classic.
over and over. And being a busy mom, I like just have it on in the background because I love that show.
I love it. Julie, you have one?
Oh gosh, Skinwalker Ranch. Anyone?
Skinwalker. I have not heard of that.
Oh, no. Please tell.
It's like aliens and paranormal research and all that kind of stuff. I love that
Fascinating.
stuff. Yes.
That's awesome. How about you?
Well, I'm a sucker for any like medical drama, right? Even though most of the time I'm yelling at the TV like, this is so inaccurate. But for my kind of like fun, quick, like don't even have to is Younger. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Hillary Duff and
Wow. Now we can tell all the eras that we all like.
it's hilarious. It's essentially, a woman who's in her 40s trying to get it back into the career world after her daughter goes to college, and she can't get into the editing space if she's not in her 20s, and so somehow sells everyone on the fact she's like 28. And
I did watch that. That's the most awesome show.
they're like just 20-minute, like short, and so if you're looking for a total not have to think about it and you'll just laugh hysterically,
That's awesome.
check out Younger. It's funny.
Okay, I'm going to go to you first, Julie.
Okay.
Favorite coffee order or signature pick-me-up? Because she walked in this morning with special coffees. I'm like, oh no. She like leveled up. What was it in your coffee cup?
Today was a pumpkin spice latte. I'm all about that until the day I'm not, and then it's off and I'm done. But if I'm making my own coffee, I do like a star anise simple syrup. Which is like a black licorice kind of simple syrup, and then I put that in like a regular Americano, and
I'm intrigued.
I'll make you some.
Yeah, she makes it.
I would like to try it too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Our next ladies group.
Done.
I'm an Americano with cream person, so I can't say I've ever tried this, but I'd be open. I don't like black licorice, but I'd be open to trying.
It's medicinal.
It's medicinal. That really is, actually. Right?
That's awesome. How about yours?
Americano with cream.
Americano with cream.
I'm a cold brew with vanilla sweet cream.
Oh,
Good one.
good one.
I'm going to talk to the cameras. Buy a milk frother. It will change your life.
Because you can make any drink that you want.
Yeah, and the milk is just special.
I love
Are you
it.
sponsored? Are you going to drop an Amazon link?
That is so awesome. So, yes. Okay, we won't go there. Last time you laughed until you cried.
Well, my son got ready for his school pictures this week. He's 9 years old, and he had a suit and tie on the top and gym shorts and leggings on the bottom. I was like, you rock that, baby. You go for it.
Only post-COVID can you do that.
That's what I said.
Right?
Nothing says you're post-COVID until that, right?
That's awesome.
Yes.
How about you?
Actually, just the other day, when a waiter at a rooftop bar brought my husband some top shelf milk. So backstory, my husband he has to have milk with his dessert, right?
I have to get him a frother.
Yes.
I don't think he'd drink fry. He doesn't like warm milk or frothy milk. He loves ice cold milk, but he can't eat dessert unless he has milk. And so we were at this little bar, and he got a piece of tiramisu to take back to the room, and was talking about, well, I can't even eat this though because I don't have milk. So Stephanie was with, and she jokingly said to the waiter, "Oh, do you have milk?" And the guy's kind of like, I'd have to check. And so we're of course chuckling like, well, it's probably half and half for heavy whipping cream. And he comes out, and without even like breaking a smile, right, he's got this plastic cup of milk with saran wrap, and he hands it to him and he says, "Your top shelf milk, sir." And Erica goes, "Have you ever been asked for this before?" And he goes, "Not from an adult." Yeah. So the next night we're at the same bar, and you know, we're having a drink and some appetizers, and get the check, and the guy comes out again, like
Completely unprompted.
completely
what an
unprompted.
amazing
Same guy
service.
comes out with a glass of milk with saran wrap on it.
That's amazing.
And the second he sets this down, we were dying.
We were both crying. We were laughing so hard. So you can skip
gosh.
me because we were
That's
both
your
crying. Yeah.
How about you, Abby?
Our volleyball staff works to just have fun because we're on the road together all the time. And Shannon, who used to play for me, we just like to be silly together. But we were trying to get our team to hit the ball to the corner. And it's harder than it looks to get them to do that. And so anytime they did it in a drill, Shannon and I would start dancing, and I had a whistle. And so I always watch practice after we're done, and I didn't watch much volleyball. I was just laughing with Shannon about our dance moves when they hit to the corner. So I'm glad we had fun with that.
Awesome.
Great leadership lesson. Bring it on. Bring
Yes.
the energy on. I
Yes.
mean, that's what that does. And so I am so grateful that each of you joined me today. And again, we are so grateful for our community of leaders that comes together, and for you all to be a part of that and be family and friends to Fred and I. It's phenomenal. So thank you.
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you for bringing us together.
Yes.
You're welcome.
It's like our own little talk
Been
show.
wonderful.
Yeah, right. It's like
we do this every week.
As I said, that authentic conversation is so
yeah.
awesome. So thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You girls.
Thank you.
So,